All right, so you are in Paying for College. My name is Ayana Mickey, and they asked me to do this because I worked in financial aura. I worked in higher ed for approximately 7 or 8 years. I've done academic advising, and I've also done financial aid. I currently, for the Office of Student Assistant, I plan events and do outreach like this. And then I also travel the state and do presentations to our military men and women and help them use their veterans benefit as successfully as possible. So we'll go ahead and get started here. And with that, last year I sent my daughter off to UCLA, and so I kind of learned a little bit more about paying for college and understanding money with college outside of just being on the other side of the table. So we'll go ahead and get started. So this presentation, if you can see here, we're going to talk about types of financial aid. We're going to talk about money management, and then we'll also talk about some financial resources that are available that you can kind of tap into and use in order to pay for your students' education. So this slide, what it says is grants, scholarships, and loans. And basically it's talking about the types of grants. So there are community grants. There are grants that you can get from your employer. If you work for the state like I do, and if you choose to be a part of the union, then the union has grants. Safe Credit Union has grants. So there's so many things available. We just have to kind of tap into those resources and do our research. Scholarships are kind of the same way. A lot of private industry organizations offer scholarships. A lot of fraternities and sororities offer scholarships for incoming college students. So we just have to tap into something that, we have to do your research and know what's out there so that you can have that opportunity. And then loans. So with loans, we have federal loans and we have private loans. Federal loans are what you do with the FAFSA. Those are the loans you get with that. And then there are also, there's unsubsidized and subsidized, right? And then private loans, typically you get through an financial institution like Bank of America, Wells Fargo, things like that, okay? Normally, when you apply for school, they should apply grants, scholarships, and then go into the loans. They should apply your federal loans first and then private loans, because private loans are a little more stringent and sometimes you have to make payments while you're attending school. So we don't advise against that, but we just like to use it as the last option. This slide, it just talks about student debt. So it's showing that from 2004 to 2017, student debt increased, right? Well, during that time also, the economy adjusted, right? So a lot of people went back to school. A lot of people took out loans because they didn't have the finances to pay for school. And so we're just showing that there's an increase, and then also the cost of school has increased, right? So it's not only mismanagement of funds, but a lot of times it's things that happen in the economy, things that happen in people, they're reacting to things that are happening from outside sources. All right, so here we are, financial aid by income. So what this slide is basically saying that based on income, typically you get more grants, right? And this is based on the FAFSA. The thing about the FAFSA is, even if you believe that you may not qualify, a lot of schools use information from the FAFSA to give you grants from their institution. So there's no harm in filling out the FAFSA and not using it, because a lot of times if your student gets to school, then they may receive other funding from the school outside of what the government will give you. Okay, so different things like there may be a special scholarship based on a STEM, and they may use the information from the FAFSA. So if you fill out, I know a lot of people say, oh, we won't qualify, but it's kind of income based, not necessarily low income. Because let's say you make $180,000 a year, but you have 4 kids and 2 of those children are in college. You might be more eligible because you have 2 students going to college, so you're putting out more money, even though you have a higher income. Does that kind of make sense? So it's not necessarily always low income, it's just income based. Okay, so some questions to consider, students. Will my parents help me pay for college? Don't be so comfortable that you believe that they will and they haven't said they would. I've had many students come to me and we have to put together a plan to help them pay for college outside of the FAFSA or anything that would need their parent. Because if you don't have a child yourself, hopefully, or you're not 26, you're independent. I mean, you're dependent. And in order to become independent, You would literally have to prove that you were abandoned on a freeway somewhere and you don't even know who these people are. You don't know their middle name. You don't want that process. Don't go through that process. So, have that conversation as a student. Have that conversation and ask your parent, hey, what are your limitations? What are you willing to do or not willing to do with my education? And then will you use loans? That is all dependent on your independent situation. I'm not going to tell you to use loans. I'm not going to tell you not to. Sometimes if we want something and the loan is standing in between us and what we want, then we need a loan. I'm just going to tell you, as a financial aid advisor, I had to sometimes tell people their options and let them make the decision, but sometimes you need a loan. And as long as you manage it correctly, you'll be okay. It won't get out of hand. Will you apply for scholarships? Yes. Will you apply for work study? When it's appropriate. My daughter didn't do work study last year because she was adjusting to the UC Life and UCLA's own quarter system, so it was throwing her kind of fast. But this year she has work study. She works 10 hours a week, and she seems to be doing okay. We're in week 0, but we'll see. She seems to be doing thus far. We'll take a win. So these are some tips. Like I was saying before, apply for the FAFSA. The worst thing that can happen is you apply for it and you don't need it, and that's okay. It doesn't do anything to your schooling. It doesn't do anything, to your financial aid, other financial aid you receive. There's no harm in that. Some of the aid that you receive through the FAFSA was first come, first serve. The first day to complete your FAFSA is October 1st. So you want to make sure if you do apply as early as possible, because the SCOG grant is first come, first serve, and the Perkins loan, which has a little lower rate than the subsidized and unsubsidized, is first come, first serve. So there's a lot of benefits to doing it early in the year than later, or earlier to the release date than later. You want to apply for scholarships. A lot of times, the difference between $1,000 and $2,000 is 250 to 500 words. Once you get 2 or 3 scholarship essays, you got templates now, right? You just keep changing them, change the address, change what they need, and keep going. That's the easiest way to do it. Does that make sense? All right. Explore your work-study options. Apply for grants and scholarships. Set financial goals. Please set financial goals. The student, my daughter last year was calling home, and I'm just like, why do you keep calling? I don't understand. We talked about a plan. We had a plan. I don't know what happened when she got to LA. A lot. That's what I can say. A lot happened. No, but you want to have a plan. You want to have goals. If you have $100, say, to get to the end of the week, then you want to sit down and actually write that out. That's how we keep, that's how we keep track as adults. We're just not out here swiping cards. We're not just swiping. If we swipe, we know what we're doing. Do you just swipe your cards? Is that what you do? Is this your brother? Family secrets, family secrets. No, but just know what you're doing, know what you're spending, know what you have. Know that you have to eat on Friday if it's Tuesday and you got $30. You know what I'm saying? If you don't have, you'll have your meal card, so you'll be okay. You're not gonna starve. My daughter thought she was gonna starve for something. I'm like, you're not gonna starve. You've never been hungry. Like, I don't get it. She was panicked. I'm like, why are you panicked? When were you hungry? I don't understand. It's the weirdest thing. But as they develop into adults, they realize the things that we have to think about. They realize the things that were behind the scenes when they were just home for the summer and eating all our food and all this stuff. You know what I mean? That's how that works. Does he do that? He eats all the food, huh? I know. So money management. This is for the student. Some additional, and the parent really, additional costs to consider. Course materials. If you're a biology major, you might need goggles, you might need a coat, you might need, kits and all this different jazz stuff. Books, housing, if you're gonna stay on campus, that's additional, right, to tuition. Transportation, and healthcare. Healthcare, we decided to take the UCLA plan because otherwise you have to change your doctor when they go away. You have to change it when they come back. It's not worth it. To me, it wasn't worth it. So we just added it into the plan. When she's there, she goes to campus. When she's here, she'll go to our doctor. So that's something else to think about. Transportation. Depending on the school you go to, they may or may not approve a car. In my experience, they won't. She has no need, so they're not going to let her have a car. But there's Lyft, Uber, Jump, Lime, all this stuff. You know, your schools have deals with these companies that can get you around the area, so you want to build that into the budget. I realized that what I had to do was send $100 a month for just Jump and all this foolishness, right? Because I didn't think that she would need all that. But even just getting around campus, sometimes it's big enough where you need something to help you. So it's just something to consider. And then toiletries, Target runs, and all this other stuff. And then the last one, food that you may want that's not covered by your meal plan. Okay, so you have swipes per day and all this stuff, but if you want to like go off campus and explore, and my daughter, she thinks she's Oprah sometimes, and I tell her, don't do this, and she wants to pay for her friends and then call me for backup. I don't know what world this is. I don't live in that world. So, but you know, it's a learning experience. So you have to understand that if you're gonna go get ice cream or go to Chick-fil-A, you can't swipe at Chick-fil-A, right? You can't swipe your card. So you have to kind of let your student know what's going on. And in the bottom, you can't really see it, but it's just budgeting tools like Mint, and the other one is called Countabout. Is that what it says? Countabout. Okay. So those are just things that help you. You put your bank account information in there. You put any bills that you may have. My daughter's responsible for some of her phone bill just to kind of help her stay conscious of responsibility. But I pay the majority. I really pay all of it. She don't really pay, but so it's just something to kind of help you through the process. It's important to kind of understand that they begin to understand, because when they graduate, they'll have their own money, right, to take care of. Why someone should understand money? It's the leading cause of dropout. If your money gets funny and you can't figure out how to maneuver through that, then typically, students are going to stop going to school. And we may not even know as parents why they're so irritated and not able to go to school, but it may be because they're struggling financially in their own little world. We don't understand that. It builds responsibility. Like I said, when you graduate from college and go into the workforce, that check's going to have your name on it. You want to make sure that you can manage it so you can purchase whatever, a home, a car, or whatever you want to do. If you start now, even before college, you'll be well prepared after. And then it reduces financial stress. There's a lot of anxieties. Well, my daughter had a lot of anxieties of going away, but there's a lot of other things that will keep you busy enough, and money doesn't have to be one of them. So where do I start? Consider all your options, all your educational options, all your financial options, whatever's available to you. Research work study options. What can you do to help supplement your income and pay your tuition down at the same time? Read and understand your financial aid award letter. So the award letter comes after you apply and after you're accepted. Then you receive the award letter and look through it. See what they charged you. See what they offered you. And if you have any questions, call the financial aid office at that school. They'll walk you through that, or at least they should. They should be open to walk you through that. And then visit any prospective colleges that you want to attend. You don't want to go somewhere. We don't just walk into the car dealership and they're like, oh, we have a car for you, and we pay for it and walk out, right? We don't do that. So we want to go in. You want to test drive it. You want to, walk around the campus, see if you like it. It's kind of like a house, I'm learning. It'll more pick you than, as long as it has the appropriate degrees and everything that you want, it'll more pick you than you will pick it. These are just examples of tuition. This is tuition. This is not room and board. This is not fees and all of that. So the community college is approximately $1,100 a year. CSU is running about $5,700. The UC about $11,000 or $1,200 or $11,000. And then private colleges, those are for-profit private, or like Stanford and things like that, $34,000 a year. These are some resources. These are also in your PowerPoint. I would take a look at these sites, or advise your children to take a look at these sites so that they can start understanding the process as well. We can only do so much hand-holding. We got to kind of push them out there. let them get, let them be a little grown. And look for scholarships as well. The bottom 3 are scholarship websites that work out pretty good. There should be something there that you can apply to, and you might just be 150 to 250, words away from money that you can use. And a lot of times they send the money directly to you, so you can use it for sheets and all this other stuff that you'll need if you live in a dorm. This is my name, and this is my email. I travel a lot, so if you email me, it's probably better. And I will definitely get back to you. Do you have any questions or anything I missed? Go ahead.
Quick question. One, when you do the FAFSA, you apply for the loan at the same time?
You apply for what at the same time?
The student loan at the same time? You decide to take it.
Right. So the FAFSA encompasses Cal Grant, Pell Grant, Perkins Loan, SCOG, federal loans. So when you do the FAFSA, it makes you eligible for all of that. And then based on what comes back or how they determine the numbers, then at that time you get what you're eligible for. So they kind of process what you put in, and then they spit back out what you're eligible for. So yes.
The interest on the loan accumulates from day one or once you graduate?
It depends. The unsubsidized, you'll start to accrue interest once it hits the account. The subsidized will not. It won't accrue interest until you graduate, until the student graduates. If you apply for financial aid and you receive an award letter and something happens, like you have to go part-time to take care of a parent as the parent of the student, or you lose your job, or your income changes in any way, call the financial aid office and tell them. They will reevaluate the money, and you will typically you'll be eligible for more money. A lot of people say, well, that was from last year, but they don't know that you can go to financial aid and tell them this, and we go in the system and redo it, and you get more money. And also, just information, if there's a parent that is incarcerated, or I had a student that had a parent in a detention center, he was trying to get his citizenship taken care of, and anything like that. With financial aid, you want to be a little more, if you have information that you can disclose, sometimes it'll get you more money. If you have an incarcerated parent, or you have a parent that may be in a detention center situation, you could potentially get $2,500, $2,000 more added to your thing. A lot of people don't know that. I only know it because I worked in financial aid, but I like to tell people because you just never know. You don't know what people are dealing with, and I just want to help everybody.